Have you ever walked away from an argument, replaying every word in your head, thinking, "What I said made sense, so why do I feel so small?" You were calm, you were logical, but they talked over you. They raised their voice, they twisted your words, and somehow they walked away, looking powerful, while you were left drained, frustrated, and unheard. In a world where shouting is often mistaken for strength, and disrespect is confused with confidence, being the quiet, rational one can feel like a disadvantage. You start to wonder if staying calm means being weak, or if the only way to be taken seriously is to become like them. But what if the problem isn't you? It's the sentences you don't yet know how to say. In this video, you'll discover 5 Stoic responses so clear and controlled that they make people stop, listen, and think twice before crossing your line again. Once you hear them and practice them, you will never handle conflict the same way. The ancient Stoics lived in a public world of ego, insults, power games, and humiliation, not so different from ours. Yet men like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca didn't rely on shouting or threats to be heard. Their power came from self-mastery. Epictetus taught that you cannot choose what other people do, but you can always choose how you respond. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that other people's behavior is outside his control, but his own mind is always his responsibility. Seneca warned that anger doesn't make us strong. It turns us into the very thing we despise. What you're about to learn is this Stoic wisdom translated into everyday language. 5 sentences you can actually use in real conversations, not to dominate others, but to protect your peace, your dignity, and your self-respect, even when the person in front of you has none. Response 1. I don't need to raise my voice to be right. Some people walk into a conversation believing that force equals truth. They lean forward. They speak over you. They increase the volume as if shouting could turn insecurity into strength. If you're not careful, your body responds before your mind does. Your heart speeds up. Your jaw tightens. And suddenly you're no longer defending your point. You're defending your pride. That is the exact moment this sentence becomes your shield. Instead of matching their intensity, you slow down. You meet their eyes and, with a steady tone, you say, I don't need to raise my voice to be right. You're not attacking them. You're not storming out. You're doing something quieter and stronger. You're changing the rules of the game. Epictetus said that no one is free if they are not masters of themselves. In that moment, you prove that you are free. Your voice, your mood, and your dignity are not for sale. You cannot control their temper, but you can control the temperature of the conversation. Your calm tone says, you may choose noise, I choose clarity. They may keep shouting, but the contrast is obvious. One person is carried by emotion, the other is anchored in reason. You stop being the quiet victim in a loud argument. You become the fixed point, the one who shows that real authority doesn't need to scream. Response 2. The way you speak says more about you than it does about me. Not all attacks are loud. Some are wrapped in humor, coated in sarcasm, or delivered with a soft voice and a sharp edge. They roll their eyes. They smirk. They drop little comments that make you feel small while they pretend they're just joking. Your first impulse is to strike back, to prove you can cut just as deeply as they can. That is exactly where most people lose. Instead, you pause. You let their words fall to the ground instead of into your chest. Then you say, calmly, "The way you speak says more about you than it does about me." In that moment, you are holding up a mirror. You're not insulting them. You're not begging them to stop. You're simply reflecting what they're choosing to show the world. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the best revenge is to be unlike the person who harmed you. With this one sentence, you live that principle. You refuse to become a copy of their disrespect. You cannot stop someone from being rude, but you can refuse to let their rudeness define you. This phrase draws a clear line. Your behavior belongs to you. My response belongs to me. When you answer contempt with contempt, you sink to their level. When you answer contempt with composure, you expose it. The room feels the difference. One person reveals their character through their attacks. The other reveals theirs through restraint. You don't win by having the sharpest insult. You win by making it clear that their words downgrade them, not you. Response 3. Let's talk when we can do it respectfully. Some conversations are not conversations at all. They're emotional ambushes. The other person cuts you off mid-sentence. They twist your words. They raise their voice and treat every pause as an opening to attack. Your thoughts get scattered. Your patience thins. You feel your dignity being pushed into a corner. If you stay, you lose yourself. If you explode, you lose your respect. That is where this sentence becomes your anchor. You stop chasing their approval. You stop trying to shout over their chaos. You take a breath and say, with calm firmness, "Let's talk when we can do it respectfully." You're not running away from the topic. You're refusing to participate in the way it's being handled. You cannot force them to listen, but you can decide that you will not keep feeding a dynamic that destroys your peace. This shifts the entire frame. The issue is no longer who is right. The issue is how you both choose to speak, you are saying. The subject may matter. My character matters more. A conversation filled with contempt is not a discussion. It is a slow erosion of self-respect. By stepping back, you close the door on that erosion. Whoever cannot meet the basic standard of respect loses the privilege of your presence. Response 4. I'd prefer not to continue this conversation. Sometimes even the minimum standard of respect is never met. The other person isn't interested in understanding. They are collecting points, sharpening accusations, and looking for new ways to trigger you. You feel it in your body first, the tightness in your chest, the heat in your face, the urge to say something you'll regret. Most people push forward because they don't want to lose the argument, and that is exactly how they lose themselves. This sentence is your quiet exit from a loud trap. I'd prefer not to continue this conversation. You're not asking for permission. You're stating a decision. Ending a destructive exchange is not weakness. It is discipline. You are choosing to protect your mind instead of feeding their need for drama. You refuse to let someone else's chaos dictate your state. You step away, not because you're afraid of them, but because you respect your peace more than the illusion of winning. Over time, people learn something important about you. Once a discussion crosses the line into disrespect, it doesn't get more of you. Response 5. That's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it. Not every pressure comes from an enemy. Some of the hardest conversations come from people who say they love you. A parent insisting that they know what's best. A friend telling you what kind of relationship you should accept. A colleague convinced you should think like they do. They may not be shouting, but they quietly cross a line. Advice becomes pressure. Concern becomes control. Most people either submit or explode. They nod and say yes while building resentment inside. Or they snap and turn a simple disagreement into a wound. You don't need either extreme. You listen. You let them finish. Then, with a calm and steady tone, you say, "That's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it." You're not attacking their judgment. You're not begging them to agree with you. You're doing something mature. You're separating their view of the world from your right to your own. To live according to everyone else's opinion is a quiet form of slavery. This sentence is the key that opens the door. You acknowledge their right to think as they wish, while quietly claiming the same right for yourself. You are saying, "I hear you. I value you. But I will not outsource my judgment." Over time, people understand that you're not hostile, but you're not easily shaped. You can love someone and still disagree with them. That is a calm, rare kind of strength. Now you can see the pattern behind all 5 responses. Each one is simple. None of them shouts, insults, or humiliates. Yet all of them do the same thing. They return control to you. "I don't need to raise my voice to be right" protects your composure. "The way you speak says more about you than it does about me" protects your dignity. "Let's talk when we can do it respectfully" protects your standards. "I'd prefer not to continue this conversation" protects your peace. "That's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it" protects your independence of thought. The Stoics never promised a life without conflict. They promised something greater. That you could move through conflict without losing yourself. When you begin to use these phrases, something subtle shifts. People start to see that you're not easily provoked, not easily manipulated, not easily pulled into games of ego and noise. You're no longer trying to win arguments. You're guarding your character. Respect, in the end, is not taken by force. It is quietly invited by the way you think, the way you speak, and the way you stay calm when others fall apart. Now don't just listen to these sentences. Train with them. Write them down in your notes or on a small piece of paper. I don't need to raise my voice to be right. The way you speak says more about you than it does about me. Let's talk when we can do it respectfully. I'd prefer not to continue this conversation. That's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it. Read them every morning for the next 7 days. Let them become familiar to your tongue before you need them. Then choose one situation in your life where you usually lose your calm. A specific person, place, or type of conversation. Visualize that moment. See yourself there. Feel the tension. And then imagine using just one of these responses instead of your usual reaction. The next time conflict appears, do 3 things. Pause for 1 slow breath. Notice the urge to react. Choose 1 sentence on purpose. Afterward, don't judge yourself. Just reflect. Ask, did I protect my peace? Did I protect my dignity? This is how Stoic training works, not in theory, but in daily corrections. Conversation by conversation, you will notice something change. People's tone around you, your own energy, and the amount of drama that even reaches your inner world. If these 5 responses resonated with you, It's probably because you're tired of feeling small in conversations where you deserve respect. You don't want more arguments. You want more control. You want a mind that stays calm, even when others don't. That's exactly what we're building here at Stoic Ether. A place where Stoic wisdom turns into something you can use. When someone disrespects you, when toxic people push your limits, when loneliness hits harder than it should, when silence feels like your only defense. If you want more tools like these, more phrases, mindsets, and daily practices to protect your peace and strengthen your character, you can subscribe to the channel and keep these lessons close. Share this with someone who is always calm on the outside, but exhausted on the inside from being disrespected. That way, the next time life tests you, you won't be searching for the right words. You'll already have them. And if you feel like sharing, tell me in the comments. Which of these 5 responses do you need the most right now, and with whom? Real respect begins the moment you respect your own response.